Welcome to our channel, the place to update the most unexpected and shocking developments in the hit TV series Beyond the Gates quickly and accurately. Let's explore with us the shocking secrets, dark conspiracies, and dramatic twists that make viewers unable to take their eyes off. Martin lives a seemingly peaceful life, but in fact is covered by dark clouds of lies, deception, and betrayal. Since childhood, he has always felt that there is something wrong in the relationship between him and his adoptive father Ted. A man with an exemplary appearance but hidden deep inside is a dangerous person, ready to destroy anyone who stands in the way of his fame and power. Martin once admired Ted, considering him the only solid support after the mysterious death of his biological mother, but then over the years, the fragments of his memory and a series of strange clues gradually lead Martin to a horrifying truth that he could not have expected. Martin discovered that Ted was not simply his adoptive father. He was the one behind his mother's death, a death that had been hidden with sweet lies and a cleverly staged legal file to make it look like a simple accident. Not only that, Martin also accidentally found in the old storage room a rusty iron box. Inside were handwritten letters from his mother, accusing Ted of being a manipulator, mentally abusing and threatening her before she disappeared under suspicious circumstances. Horrified, angry and stunned, Martin decided to find a way to expose everything. But he did not expect that this action would put his own life in danger. Ted, the man who always built a perfect public image, quickly realized that Martin knew too much. In his calculating mind, Ted understood that to preserve everything, reputation, power, wealth and control, there was only one option: Martin had to disappear, forever. From a foster father, Ted turned into a real predator. He did not choose to take action directly but began to build an elaborate plan, step by step leading Martin into a trap with no way out, making everything look like a regrettable accident or suicide. Martin began to notice strange things. His phone was tapped, his computer was suddenly hacked, his bank account was mysteriously frozen. His once trusted friends began to drift away from him, not because they had changed, but because they suddenly received false information about Martin, things that could only have been manipulated by someone else. Martin was systematically isolated, like a trapped animal in the deep forest. And what made things more dangerous was that Ted never showed any signs of hatred towards Martin. He still played the role of a caring foster father, still smiled at family meals, still pretended to be worried when Martin reported missing things or being followed. It was this pretense that made Martin lose his way, always in a state of half-believing, half-doubting, sometimes making him doubt his own reason. However, his survival instinct and determination to find the truth helped Martin not give up. He secretly collects evidence, records conversations, visits people who knew his mother before she died, and pieces together the buried memories. On a trip back to the old suburban house that Ted had forbidden him to visit, Martin finds an old photo of his mother standing next to a strange man, who he later discovers is her personal lawyer, whom Ted fired shortly after her death. Martin goes to him, and thanks to the remaining documents in the archives, he gets his hands on a copy of his mother's original will, which does not mention Ted as guardian. This panics Martin because it proves that all custody and assets given to Ted were the result of a deliberate forgery. Martin gets closer and closer to the truth, but at the same time he is pushed to the edge of life and death. Ted, now impatient to quietly eliminate Martin, began to take more drastic measures, hiring people to follow Martin, creating a fake crime scene to make the police suspect Martin of being involved in a major theft at the company, threatening those who intended to help Martin, and finally, planning a serious accident. One rainy evening, Martin receives an anonymous call, luring him to an abandoned warehouse, where someone claims to have evidence of Ted's crimes. Despite his uneasy feeling, Martin decides to go, taking his phone, voice recorder, and GPS device with him. Little does he know that the entire thing is being monitored by Ted. As Martin enters the warehouse, a small explosion is remotely triggered, collapsing part of the ceiling and severely injuring his leg. Martin survives, however, and that is the turning point that sends Ted's rage into overdrive. With no cover left, Ted launches a public smear campaign, accusing Martin of being mentally ill, releasing edited recordings of Martin threatening others, and hiring the media to falsely report Martin's troubled past, fabricating a story that he was sent to a reform school and had a history of illegal drug use. In the eyes of the public, Martin gradually became a dangerous man. No one believed what he said. But in the dark, Martin persisted. With the help of a private investigator who used to be a close friend of his mother, Martin gradually uncovered invincible evidence. Old camera footage recording the last argument between Ted and his mother before she died. A forensic report proving that she did not die in an accident. And a copy of the records of unusual transfers from his mother's account to an anonymous fund in Ted's name. With this evidence, Martin was ready to expose Ted before the law. But Ted did not sit still. He was more vicious than Martin had imagined. When he learned that Martin was preparing to file a lawsuit, Ted made his final move, this time more direct than ever. He broke into Martin's apartment in the middle of the night, injected him with anesthetic and staged the scene to look like a drug-induced suicide. But Martin had anticipated this. A few weeks earlier, he had installed a hidden camera and warned a close friend if he didn't respond within 24 hours. This saved his life. The friend called the police in time. And the video from the camera captured Ted's entire ordeal. The police stormed in while Ted was still in the room, still holding the needle. He was caught red-handed. The truth came to light. And Ted's entire crime, from killing Martin's mother, to forging documents, to attempted murder, was brought to trial. Martin, despite his physical and mental trauma, was finally cleared. He not only survived, but also made the man who had hidden his dark past for so many years pay for his crimes. Thank you for following today's dramatic story. If you find it interesting, don't forget to click the follow button and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the next shocking developments of the movie. Every action of yours is a great motivation for us to continue to bring the most in-depth and attractive analysis. See you in the next videos.